You're watching Raptors Today. I'm Savanna Hamilton alongside Paul Jones and Sherman Hamilton. And the Raptors, well, they concluded their season. And so today we're going to listen from the team, but also add our own thoughts on what they say. This is part one of our locker cleanout show. So we'll get right to it because there's a lot of words that were shared over the past couple of days. So we're kicking it off right now with Gary Trent Jr., Khem Birch, and Chris Boucher. Let's hear from the team.
The Toronto Raptors, are a great organization. It's built up of a lot of great people. It's a lot of moving parts that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. Down to the front office, down to the training staff, down to the coaches. And I can, I'm just in my 2 months of being here. The people I've met, great people, and the type of people that you want to be around. I would just say just open arms. I would say that was the biggest thing, from top to bottom, no matter who it was. They was always trying to make sure I felt comfortable. They made sure the transition, was easy for me, So I would just say that was the biggest thing that I'm thankful for and the best thing that, happened so far while being here. The type of guys that's in this organization, in this locker room, they work extremely hard. They're extremely talented. Seeing all those pieces out there and competing with those guys and playing with those guys for a year long, would be fun and amazing. But like you said, that wasn't the cards, we were dealt with. So we tried our best on the fly to learn each other's game as much as we could, bond as much as we could to start working towards some wins. But like you said, all the pieces that's here now, it could be potentially a great thing. And just my 2 months here playing what it means to Raptor basketball, is to have a certain toughness, when you step in the court, defend, play hard, don't back down to nobody, stay together, and most importantly, win. So that's probably the biggest things I took away from here in the 2 months and what I've seen on court-wise.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I feel like I got lucky. If I would have stayed in Orlando, people would have just probably thought I'm just a regular bench big, who's just can't score or anything, and I'm fortunate enough that these guys believed in me, and also I give my respect to Jeff Weltman for actually letting me leave. I'm happy that I got the opportunity here, and definitely Toronto's somewhere I'm going to look for in the future and talk to my agent about. Honestly, I believe that I had it, but I didn't think I was gonna show it this year. Just jumping in at the end of the season, I thought I was gonna just kind of gradually, show a little bit of glimpses and all that. Maybe potentially next season, wherever I was gonna do this. But I did kind of exceed expectations for myself when I first got here. I was kind of nervous. The whole country's watching me. I left Orlando on my own terms. So, it was kind of a lot of pressure, but, I worked hard the whole year regardless. And I think just going through what I did in Orlando helped me achieve what I wanted to do here. I've never seen anything like it. Probably with Spanoulis in Greece is the last time I've seen a guy like this. But he's just a great guy and, unselfish. And he's like the heart and soul of this team. It's just funny. I'm just playing with Kyle Lowry. I've never thought in my life I'd actually play with a guy like that. So it was a very good experience, and he's someone I kind of look up to, and hopefully in the future I can be the same type of player in terms of personality and that type of character.
Yeah, it definitely felt good. I think I finally got an opportunity. Consistent and like they said, that this team did a really good job in making sure I stay ready and get better in my game. And when the opportunity showed up, I had the chance to use it. But guys like Fred, Pascal, Kyle, they stayed on me. Even to the success to get better. So I have a lot of credit to this team for everything I've been doing for this season. Yeah, I'm definitely going into this summer with, a game plan a lot better than the other years. Playing at a different position. There's a lot of stuff that I could get better. And I have plenty of clips now to watch. But I also just want to be able to, like I said, become a better patient player. My IQ needs to get better. Playing at the 4 now, there's a lot of stuff that, you don't do as a 5-man, and I need to get better at those. But like I said, I have a lot of clips to look at, so I'll definitely get better at it. But we definitely got a game plan now, and we're gonna go into the summer attacking it. Well, I mean, I think it comes with film. For example, team adjusts. It's the NBA, so team adjusts to, let's say I had a game with 30. Next game, they're probably not gonna let me get the ball as easier. They're probably not gonna let me as open. They're probably gonna switch everything, and that's when like the summer is gonna help me out a lot because at the end of the day, I have to get stronger again, and I still gotta be a mismatch. For example, if they want to switch, then I'm still 6'10". I still could find a way to go in the post and find a way to score against them. And those are all the little things that I want to figure it out because at the end of the day, I don't want to have no limitation in my game. And, playing against the bigs, it's easy because I'm a little bit faster. But now that they're probably going to start switching and stuff like that, I got to be able to be a menace then no matter what. And like I said, I've watched a lot of clips and seen when they switching, and sometimes I'm like, it's kind of stay stagnant. So I think that's when it comes to a point where like I gotta watch a lot of OG clips, Pascal clip, what they do when they switch on them, and how did they score, how they find their ways to still be a threat on the court. Kyle is the ultimate leader. Like I said, he showed us so much. Especially me, I came my first year. I wasn't even talking to him as much since I was in the 905 and all that and it's just like the way that he kind of bring the dog out of anybody. I bring that up all the time. The Mavericks game, I feel like we had no part of winning this game, and Kyle kind of showed, brought us there. He was really intense, and that kind of gave me the energy, and I feel like it does that to everybody. And so many games this year, you could see that it felt like, if it wasn't because of him, we wouldn't be here. So like I said, I have a lot of praise for Kyle. I think he made me a better player, made me understand the game. And like I said, he was hard on me a lot of times too, and that helped me out. Just kind of realizing, okay, you gotta do better, and he did that for everybody. And if you see how we play, if you see the young guys on this team, they all kind of, looking out for what he has to say for us because we know that he's been there for a long time and he's just there to get us better.
A lot of good words shared there. Now, Jonesy, what is your biggest takeaway from what Boucher said and from the conversation in general?
Well, and there it is to all the people that cry about numbers and depend on numbers to kind of validate some of the things that you see in the game. You just heard two young, impressionable guys in Khem Birch and Chris Boucher talk about the leadership of Kyle Lowry, something that no numbers can measure. And Chris talking about Kyle bringing the dog out, bringing that competitive spirit out in everybody. That's leadership, and it's not always measured by numbers. And so I give credit. I give credit to Kyle. I give credit to those guys for being willing to be led like that and not taking it the wrong way and not saying, well, who are you to tell me? But, this guy's a champion and you follow the lead. And then to hear Khem Birch, Savanna, talk about his opportunity in Toronto. He always felt he had that in him. It might not have showed up till next year, but he comes to Toronto. Nick Nurse kind of instills a confidence in him and turns loose, and there he is. He's showing things that people didn't know he had in Orlando. And it was interesting. He talked about how he felt people were putting him in a box and maybe categorizing his game, and yet now here he is showing a lot more of it. So those are the biggest takeaways. And then, the last thing, Chris Boucher talking about improvement and how you have to improve, watching video, watching what other guys do, adding things to your toolbox. Those things really, really stood out for me.
Absolutely. They stood out for me as well because just building on your Boucher point there, he didn't just say he's watching his own clips. He's watching his teammates' clips and how they're switching and what they do on the matchup because, if they watch him and he's playing on the floor with them for next season, well, he's going to read off of what the defenders are playing off of his teammates and then react. And so I think it's great that he's not only watching his own game, he's watching his teammates' game as well and just studying and learning. I love that. Sherm, what was your biggest takeaway in terms of, especially from Gary Trent Jr., but of the other guys as well?
Yeah, there was a lot said by all three guys. And I really, when I'm listening to Gary Trent Jr. speak, you get the understanding that he recognized the culture. As soon as he realized this team operates a certain way, there's a certain expectation when you hit the floor, and you've got to fulfill your role. And if you get out of line, people are going to put you back in place. And, coming from a situation in Portland where he played with some great backcourt players, he came to Toronto that had that extra notch of that championship level that championship pedigree and mentality. And that for a young player is something that you might hear about, but then you get to that locker room and you see it every day in terms of how people move and operate. And it really opens your eyes. And Gary Trent spoke to that. So it was interesting to hear him say that. And for Chris Boucher and for Khem Birch to a certain extent, they both talk about the opportunities. And for Chris, we've seen him improve over his years as a Raptor. And to have the opportunity now to see clips of himself doing things in extended periods of time on the floor, having big games, having not so good games, but just having all of that material to look back on. Not only can he see it and understand it, but he can remember those moments. And that's a huge thing, to be able to put yourself back in that position and understand, okay, I see what I did here. Over the summer, I've got to learn to do this, and I have to learn to do something else. And to me, that's valuable for a young player. And for Chris, it's going to be a great offseason with that type of material to grow with. But both he and Khem Birch did a great job, and they spoke to it, taking advantage of the opportunity, making sure that what they were given was not going to waste. And they did a great job in terms of producing in those moments.
Absolutely. I love what the big man's had to say. But, building on Gary Trent, he went to the school of Damian Lillard just before coming to the Raptors. So he brought a lot of, I find, that play style to this team. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that can build potentially in the offseason and going into next. We got to hear now, though, from Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and OG Anunoby.
Yeah, I mean, it's been that way. It's been that way for a little bit now. Obviously, Cal is the greatest Raptor of all time, but I think that shift started to happen a little bit ago. So I'm kind of already comfortable in that role now. There's some things I need to get better at. I need to grow, and I need to be better than I was this year on and off the court. And so I'm looking forward to that challenge, and I'm looking forward to a different dynamic with a different team next year. But I'm pretty comfortable in that space. That stuff comes easy to me. Probably off the court, because it's not so much emotion all the time. You know what I mean? Like, on the court, it's such a high intensity moment that's, it's just, you never know what the flow of the game is going to call for each individual. There's so many highs and lows emotionally for every guy. So it's hard to corral that all the time and channel that in the best way. And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But off the court is a little bit easier, because it's just, it's direct communication. And, I truly want the best for everybody that I play with, as players and humans. And, I think that's recepted and received pretty well. That's a hard question to answer, but the first word that comes to my mind when you ask me is just inconsistency, all across the board. So I'm sure if I spent some time to think of something better, I could, but I'll just give you that one for now: inconsistency. And that's in schedule, that's in the world, that's in play, that's in health, that's in everything. Emotions, it's just everything there was no continuity whatsoever from start to finish. And, humans are simple creatures, and it's just like, we need a schedule, we need to follow certain routines, and it was just up and down and trying to catch up. We were playing catch up from the start of the season. You start 2-8 and you're climbing uphill the rest of the way, and you finally get up to where you can breathe, and then everybody gets COVID, and then you're right back to where you were. So it's just like, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm proud of the way the guys, we stayed together. We didn't have very much locker room beef at all, with not much pointing fingers. Had a few incidents here and there, but just normal stuff. It wasn't any more drama this year than there normally is on the team. So I'm proud that the guys stuck together, and I think everybody made it out pretty much unscathed, and we took a few bumps and bruises along the way, but we'll be all right. The most difficult part I don't know. That's, again, there's a long list of things, but I would just say probably just losing, just losing, like, over and over. And I think we went 1-13 in a month. Like, that's unheard of. So it's demoralizing, it's deflating, it ruins your mood, it ruins your day. I'm sure I wasn't the most pleasant guy to be around in my house sometimes this year. So yeah, that was the worst part. And the best part is just that adversity brings you closer to, the people that you're in it with, or it should at least. And I think that this year definitely, I grew with a lot of the guys and just with the team. And
I think going forward, this will be a good moment to look back on because, again, we were at the highest of the heights not that long ago, and here we are pretty low. So we got to pick ourselves back up again and start climbing. He's been the focal point of everything that's been Toronto Raptors since I've been here. And, Kyle Lowry is obviously the greatest Raptor of all time, and number two might be Masai. This is just a pecking order of what he's meant, his leadership on the court, off the court, what he means to us as players, and the demands he challenges every player, and he rewards most of the players, when you do what he asks you to do. And so he paid me twice, so you'll never hear me say nothing bad about him. And obviously we would love to have him going forward, but people land where they may, and he's shown no signs of anything else other than commitment towards us throughout this entire year.
I mean, I think obviously like the focus is just to go back, man. Again, like you said, it hasn't happened before. Have that much time, and I just want to continue to get better. Like, I think the focus is the same. Obviously, the time is a little more, but it's always the same focus. It's looking at things that you can get better at, going and work tirely and continuously on those things, and become a better player. Like, I think that's something that I always focus on going to the summer. And again, it's a big summer, and just wanting to be the best player that I can be, and that's my focus. On the court and off the court. Oh yeah, definitely it's an exciting time, and wanting to get better, and that's something that I take pride in, and I've always done it, and obviously going through different things, and you learn about things that you need, and I think those are the things that I just want to go back and focus on, and obviously having more time is only like a better thing. I feel like I've always been a willing passer, so like I think that again. It's sometimes also a matter of like, you make a couple of shots here, or somebody misses a shot, and you look at the system, it's like different. So I don't know. I think for me, it's just, I continue to make the right play. And like I said, again, like just making the right decision out there on the floor, which is something that I have to learn, and being that person that, if you, the main option, knowing, how to put, people in position to be successful and things like that. So, I think as a team, we're definitely going to work on that more. And obviously, with coaching and the coach and everything, just knowing, how we're going to play and things like that, and putting myself in position where, I can probably facilitate a little bit more and get other guys involved, and, know when to score, know when to do different things. So I think it's just overall growth. Oh yeah, I think it's obviously just learning. I mean, I think when we came in, they were the guy that we looked at, DeMar, Kyle, they were our leaders, and we looked at them and we learned from them, and they definitely showed us the ropes, and I think just continue to grow for me in my career, and evolving into the player that I've become, and I think just learning how to before it was me just looking for him to pass me the ball, but then now me being in a situation where I have a little bit of control and things like that. So there's a lot of learning, and I mean he's an unbelievable, like, just talent obviously, but leader, and some of the things that he does just to keep us together, and I definitely learned a lot from him, not only the basketball court, just life in general, just talking to him and picking his brain, and he's been in the league for such a long time, and we, like, players like us, we just hope that we can get to that amount of years in the league, so we definitely learn from that.
The next step is just continued all-around development, on-court, off-court leadership, just continue to work on my skills. Just being a leader, more of a leader, more vocal, trying to help guys get to their spots, help guys what to do, on the court and off, just helping guys, especially if we're back in Toronto, teaching them about the city, stuff like that. Yeah, I think we all grew this season, just with the adversity we had to deal with. I mean, everyone in the league had to deal with it, but I guess us a little bit more because we got displaced. So just getting the tempo, getting adjusted, and then finding our way a little bit, and then having the COVID outbreak with the team, and then I guess just try to fight our way back, and then just learning from it all, and then just gonna use our summer to get better and come back next year. We're all gonna try to be better. Just a constant encouragement to continue working hard and knowing things will come. just at my own pace and try to learn as much from everyone I'm around. The importance of watching film, taking care of my body, stuff like that. He's been a big help for all of us, I think.
Jonesy, a lot was said there as well.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaways?
Well, again, the leadership of Kyle and Fred talking about the leadership of Masai, and then everybody referring to growth and what they will take from this season. And we always say this in life: there's no such thing as failure. There's success and experience. And I think what I garnered from what the Raptors were saying, a lot of them, was they got experience in this season. They learned about themselves. They learned about each other. They learned about life, and it's taking that and getting better going forward. And of course, there's the obligatory and perfunctory basketball discussion where OG's talking about working on his game. Pascal is talking about seeing the floor and becoming, always a willing passer, but becoming better at it. And those are things that'll benefit the team. But it's something that we always talk about. If you're happy in your situation, if your locker room's good, it makes it a lot easier. And everybody kind of referred to that. So it's about getting this team together again, kind of, recharging, resting, working out, and getting back together and developing the chemistry and the camaraderie that probably was one of the key things in the championship.
One thing I took away as well is when Fred said, hey, Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time, but Masai might be the second. So I appreciate him shouting out Masai for this season because, it's not just the players on the floor, but it's also the staff behind the scenes. As OG also mentioned, how they had to adjust to Tampa and how OG's going to be the personal tour guide when they come back to Toronto with the new players. So I appreciate that. But Sherman, I'm going to give it to you now for Smuckers and Jif ultimate teammate moment of the season.
Yeah, no question about it. Fred VanVleet is a worthy candidate when you're talking about an ultimate teammate. Fred VanVleet, he went through a tough season. COVID hit him really hard, and he even talked towards the end of the season of still having aches from COVID. And this guy just goes out there every single time he hits the floor, and he just plays hard. He leaves it out there. His leadership is phenomenal. His toughness is unmatched, and his mind for the game of basketball, his creativity. This is a very cerebral player and a guy who understands how to navigate his way through a basketball game, both for himself as a scorer and as a point producer, but also as a leader who's setting people up and running a team. He's got a great balance to his game. And it was interesting to hear him talk about the fact that, how he reveres Kyle and what Kyle has done for him. And Kyle understood that he was grooming a point guard that would potentially take him over and be the lead guy. The interesting thing about Fred is he came to the Raptors already instilled with a leadership style that was respected. He just needed the opportunity. He just needed the chance to show everybody what he could do on the floor. And he did it the right way. He got to the 905. He did what he had to do there. When he got his chance with the big team, he played extremely well, and he continued to build his game. Just very impressive, and I just love what he brought.
Thank you for watching Raptors Today. We'll catch you guys again. Thank you for watching our latest episode. Make sure you subscribe to all the Toronto Raptors social channels so that you don't miss a thing.